Now, what really are the political takeaways from this particular decision of conferring the Bharat Ratna on two former prime ministers? Here's the conversation I had earlier with Rajdeep. All right, I'd like to bring in on Rajdeep Sardesai as well. Rajdeep, let's take this one at a time. First of all, the decision of conferring the Bharat Ratna to former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao. How do you see this? The Prime Minister referring to the legacy of the former Prime Minister, which many say a legacy that was ignored by the Congress.
Look, I think there can be no quibble over Narasimha Rao ji getting the Bharat Ratna. When you consider the fact that one of the most dramatic changes that has taken place in India in the last few decades is what economic liberalization did at the time. Mr. Rao may have had his critics and detractors, but he will be seen as a prime minister who did leave a legacy. The fact that the Congress didn't give him his due is also on record, and I think that perhaps makes it even easier for the BJP to almost suggest that we are doing what the Congress failed to do. So I don't think there can be quibbles over the fact that Narasimha Rao had a long and distinguished career in public life. When it comes to Chaudhry Charan Singh, remember he is a towering Kisan leader, Jat community, and it comes at a time when there is talk of Jayant Chaudhary, his grandson of the Rashtriya Lok Dal, joining hands with the BJP. When you look at it in totality, Karpuri Thakur, Mandal icon, in a way a Mandir icon in L.K. Advani, and a markets icon in Narasimha Rao, you virtually covered all bases. And perhaps the only criticism that some will have is that the timing is designed with the general election just a couple of months away. You're using the Bharat Ratna as a political weapon. But beyond that, all these figures will be seen by their many admirers as justly deserving the Bharat Ratna. Remember, Akshita, this is a country where Indira Gandhi famously gave a Bharat Ratna to V.V. Giri, who was the president when Mrs. Gandhi was prime minister. And there were questions raised at the time as well. So it's not as if previous prime ministers have not, in a way, used the Bharat Ratna, some say, for political gain. But I do believe the likes of Narasimha Rao, Chaudhry Charan Singh, Karpuri Thakur have been important figures. We can debate whether they should have got the Bharat Ratna or not earlier. These are endless debates. But I think the BJP and Prime Minister Modi have once again scored a political point ahead of the general elections by suggesting that those ignored by the Congress are being embraced by the BJP. And I think that's a powerful political message that the BJP intends to send ahead of the general elections.
The narrative that this creates, Rajdeep, you're talking about the political messaging involved here. How do you really see this having an impact in the upcoming elections?
It's very interesting you say that, Akshita. I do recall that when Sachin Tendulkar was given the Bharat Ratna, a Congress leader told me that we will now get the youth vote. I don't know which world he was living in. Look, the Bharat Ratna has symbolic value, undoubtedly. Does it determine voter preferences in a country as diverse as India? I don't think so. But it does give political messaging. From the optics point of view, it's important. I think by giving Narasimha Rao, you're sending a message to the Congress and the Gandhi family in particular that you ignored your own. By giving it to a Charan Singh, you're wooing Jayant Chaudhary on your side. By giving it to a Karpuri Thakur, you wooed Nitish Kumar on your side. So that limited political messaging is there. Undoubtedly now, when in a Western UP, the Prime Minister goes and addresses farmers, he'll say, look, I gave the ultimate Kisan Neta, Kisan Putra, the Bharat Ratna. But to suggest that it decides voter preferences, I think that would be a stretch.
So you're saying that narrative-wise, there is certainly a lot to take away from these decisions, but not really something that will have an impact, a hard-hitting impact on the ground. Let's take, for example, Rajdeep, P.V. Narasimha Rao, someone who has, of course, had, as you said, huge contributions to India's economic policies, to India's nuclear policies as well, but also in the south. You look at Telangana, for example, something like this will resonate with the people because they've always felt that here's a man who was a prime minister from our soil and yet was never given his due.
Good point, Akshita. You know, as you come in from Hyderabad airport, which is named after Rajiv Gandhi, you go along a Narasimha Rao flyover. That's the long flyover which takes you into Hyderabad. He is seen as a Telugu bidda. He is seen as someone in Telangana. You speak to intellectuals, they say Narasimha Rao was someone whom they feel could have got a Bharat Ratna. Let's also be clear, it's a mixed legacy. The same Narasimha Rao was the Home Minister when the terrible anti-Sikh pogrom happened in 1984. The same Narasimha Rao was Prime Minister when the Babri Masjid was demolished and it led to riots. The same Narasimha Rao was accused of being a Prime Minister who had bought a confidence vote with the JMM. But it's the same Narasimha Rao who also, as you say, made important breakthroughs on foreign policy, especially with the United States. It's the same Narasimha Rao who ushered in market liberalization, who managed to run a successful minority government for 5 years. So it's a mixed legacy, as is the legacy of many of the past Bharat Ratnas. Every leader who is in public life over an extended period has strengths and weaknesses. But you make a good point. In a state like Telangana, where the BJP wants to grow, they can certainly make the point, as I said, they can make the point in Western UP, that we are rewarding iconic leaders from your region. Remember also MS Swaminathan, the only non-politician in this list, is from Tamil Nadu. And who will question a Bharat Ratna for MS Swaminathan? Someone who was one of the architects of the Green Revolution. And I emphasize one of them because there were others also involved in it. Someone like Dr. Varghese Kurian, I could argue, should have also got the Bharat Ratna. Comes actually from Gujarat. And there will be questions, is it because he was someone who wanted an independent cooperative movement and didn't really suck up to politicians? The truth of the matter is there are lots of Indians out there who could be posthumously given the Bharat Ratna. But the choices, I think, are unexceptionable. But the choices are also with one eye on politics. Let's not kid ourselves there.
Okay, deserving candidates, no doubt, for India's highest civilian honor, deserving candidates for the Bharat Ratna, but there is certainly political color also to these choices. Thanks very much, Rajdeep, for joining us here on India Today with your insight. And the politics over the announcement of the Bharat Ratna continues. Demands now pouring in for a Bharat Ratna for Bala Saheb Thackeray as well. Raj Thackeray as well as Sanjay Raut have now spoken out, questioning why the decision hasn't been taken to give and confer and honor Bala Saheb Thackeray with a Bharat Ratna. Now, Raj Thackeray has said that he was a prominent cartoonist of the country and a unique leader who awakened the identity of all Hindus across the country and thereby deserves his honor. Sanjay Raut, meanwhile, has said that neither Veer Savarkar nor Bala Saheb Thackeray have been honored by the government so far. And thereby, he said that the Modi government, which calls itself Hindutva, has once again forgotten the Hindu heart.